In a down economy, it gets harder to sell. People get scared, they spend less, and it makes it harder for us as business owners to close deals and get to yes the way we would in a thriving economy. Today, I'm going to share with you three things you can do to keep sales up in a down economy. And they're things that are pretty tried and true because we already had a practice run at this during COVID when people were spending way less money than before, and we had to get more creative about selling. We also had a crash course in sales a few days ago, and we heard from so many business owners who attended that they have been experiencing this slowdown in sales. So if you have as well, it's not you, it's the economy, but there are some things that you can do. The very first thing I want you to do is do more, not less. This is counterintuitive because when sales start slowing down and it feels like it's hard to get out there and get your clients to say yes to you and do what you want them to do, the instinct can be to retreat, to do some version of going back under the covers and pulling the quilt up over your head. But the fact is, we need to do more. When times are challenging, we want to try things we never tried before. We want to dust off that idea that we had 6 months ago, but never decided to do, like doing your first live webinar on LinkedIn right here or on YouTube. Maybe you want to start sending out a monthly newsletter. Maybe you want to start calling clients who you worked with in the past. So do more, not less. We call that accelerate into the turn. I have a whole chapter on that in my book, Go Big Now. And if you'd like that, just DM me accelerate and I'll send that to you for free. The second thing to do in a down economy is to nurture existing leads. We always want new leads as business owners, and so do keep networking and trying to engage new people. But you will find that when people are contracting because it's a down economy and they're being very careful with their money, that you're going to have better luck with people who already know, like, and trust you. That is one of the basic principles of sales, is that people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So if you have people on your email list, people you're connected to on LinkedIn and on other social media, people you've met at events, these are people who already are likely to know, like, and trust you. So I'd like you to spend more time nurturing those existing leads than you usually would. And that brings us to our third point, which is to be more high touch. When the economy's down, we need to give people more individual attention, make them feel like you really are there for them. You understand what they're going through. Another basic principle of sales is that if people think you understand their problem, they think you're the one to solve it. I'll say that again because that's important. If people think you understand their problem, they'll think you're the one to solve it. So how would they know if you understand their problem? Well, maybe you're reaching out to them with messages like, oh, I know it's hard because you run a product business and you probably have a lot of uncertainty about how much things are going to cost, your cost of goods over the next few weeks and months, given all the changes because of the tariffs. Or maybe you want to reach out and share something you remembered about a former client and ask how they're doing. All these things make people feel like you understand them and like you're there for them. So that high touch is going to make a huge difference during a down economy when people are being very selective about where to spend their money. I know for me personally, I've been getting so many ads about spring savings and shopping at this store and that store to buy new clothes, but I wound up going to the store of someone who I know personally, a woman designer who I really like and I like her values, and she had been sending me a lot of emails, including an incentive to go do a fashion session in her store in person. She wound up sending out an email to all of her customers saying, I will pay you $50 to go do a fashion fitting, styling session, whatever they call it, in the store. I was going to go anyway, but I thought that was a clever way to be very high touch. And also it's part of that doing more, not less, right? I've never gotten an email like that from her before, but you might notice in your own inbox and in your phone, you're getting more and more from stores because they're having to work harder to sell. So as small business owners, let's not take this as a time to take our foot off the gas. We can't afford to. Most small business owners don't have a big rainy day fund and live more or less, hand to mouth, month to month. So please make sure to use one of these three or all of these three tactics to get through this difficult time. I'll go over them again. The first one is to do more, not less. Maybe if you brainstorm a list of 10 things you could be doing right now, including ideas you had in the past but never implemented, one of those could lead to your next set of 20 new clients. The second thing is to nurture existing leads. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So go back to that list of former clients, look at who's opening your emails if you're sending those out, and reach out to people in a very personalized way, which is number 3, be more high touch. During these times, people want to feel like you really understand their problem. That's always a good thing to do in sales. But if they're being super selective about where to spend their money, they're going to choose the company that feels like they're really connected to what they're going through right now. I hope you'll use one of those 3 or all of them, and keep coming back here for more tips. I will see you next week. Till then, stay brave and go big.